Hi there, this is Matt at State of Flux, continuing my look back at the works of the MCU in the long path to Doomsday. I am deep in the Infinity Saga, but including my first film that was made outside of the Infinity Saga, even though it takes place directly within, and that is Black Widow. I decided to place this right after Black Panther, Spider-Man at Homecoming after the events of Civil War because of how closely this ties into the post-Civil War events. I think they say it takes place 6 or 8 months after that film. So this is where it drops in for me. And that's why I'm covering it now. I did review this movie. You can watch the non-spoiler review here. And I also did a deep dive into a more spoiler-laden review here. So this is more of a revisit more than anything else. And my appreciation of this film has softened a little bit. I think I was just so enthused back when it first came out that there was more new MCU stuff and my favorite character was going to be launching and spearheading that moving forward. I was a big fan of Black Widow and I always wanted her to have her own individual solo film, and so I was enthusiastic that we finally got that. And I think it is good. It's very good, actually. But I think it's actually even better than its reputation by and large. But the comments that people make of too little too late are not wrong. However, this does do a decent service at building groundwork for characters that are important moving forward. In the Yelena, in the Red Guardian, and I guess Taskmaster. I do have some issues with Taskmaster I'll address. But the qualities of this film is that it gives really good and interesting perspective onto who Black Widow is. She's always been an enigmatic character, and I love how Scarlett Johansson plays Natasha Romanoff. On first sight, you could say that she's performing the character relatively flat and whatnot, but there's a lot going on internally that we are not seeing, and this gives us sort of a window into that, and who she was and why she acts the way she does. And I think that the stuff with Natasha in this film and her family are the best benefits this movie has. Certainly Florence Pugh playing Yelena and the way these sisters interact is fantastic. Also having, what's his name? Hopper from Stranger Things. You can check out my Stranger Things thoughts. He is phenomenal as Red Guardian. He gives such a good performance, and you want to see just more of his character. But there's other things in this film that I think work really well. You have a repeated motif of falling. You have her, Natasha, or some of the other widows always falling. Some of them even fall and land the same way she does eventually when she takes her fall. But there's a constant repeated refrain of falling and saving herself from that. It's an epic bit of foreshadowing if you watch it in the context of the Infinity Saga. Something that will ultimately be her undoing by choice is something that you see her repeatedly in this film recover gracefully from. And I appreciated that. I think that the biggest issue with the film is that you have a villain who, they're making some kind of commentary on like the Harvey Weinsteins of the world who like use and take their influence and their power to diminish these poor women, and that seems to work. The villainy on that level works pretty well, but he's introduced sort of so late into the film that you can't have like an appropriate connection to him. I think they could have done his villainy a little better, because the forefront of your attention is always brought to Taskmaster, and I like the bait and switch that they do with Taskmaster and how that is woven into the story. I think that's great. They just don't use Taskmaster in a way that makes sense in terms of you have a character that has studied all the files of the Avengers and knows all their moves and whatnot, and you see that at a couple of points, but they never actually bring that to any meaningful character work with the two characters that would make sense for them to do it with. You don't even have Taskmaster take on Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, and have a widow versus widow battle. No, in fact, you do have Taskmaster take on Black Widow at a couple of points and does some, like, soft Captain America nods or Hawkeye nods, but that's it. It's just pure, like, acknowledgement that that this Taskmaster knows those same moves. I think that you could have done a really interesting thing where you have Black Widow also know and study all of the Avengers. Like, she's fought alongside them. Wouldn't it have been interesting character work to reveal that she too knows all their moves, and therefore if they're going to fight her, she knows how to combat that? Because she is just a person. She's not a super soldier. She's not an Iron Man. She's not a like gifted quiver artist. You know what I mean? Like, you could have shown us that even though we didn't know, but she could take down any of the Avengers should she want to, because she's been studying them from behind the scenes as well. That would set up interesting things about her character and the, like, assassin side of her that we start to get to know a little bit in this and has been hinted at throughout the entirety of this series. But she's not the only one they let down with the Taskmaster character work. You have Red Guardian, who's constantly comparing himself to Captain America, and he's the Russian Captain America and all that kind of stuff. And when he and Taskmaster finally face off, you don't have a fight between him and Captain America. Taskmaster should have been fighting that entire time as Captain America to finally give us, or give his character closure that he would be able to beat Captain America in a fight. That is how you use, or why you would use Taskmaster in one of these stories. And the fact that, like, they didn't seem to be as concerned with making that character have any connection to the main characters, but rather be a, like, twist ploy for the villain is disappointing. So I get why people are upset. It's not that... I don't honestly think that it's that they're upset. I mean, some people are... with the fact that Taskmaster is this, the daughter of the villain and a failed widow herself. It's more that they don't find a way to utilize Taskmaster to progress anybody's story. And for me, that is one of the biggest things holding this movie back. It also has a generally slow quality to it, but I liked that. It was something that didn't bother me in either time I watched it theatrically. And I only kind of noticed it here because my daughter started getting a little fidgety. She did like the movie. She really liked the family around Black Widow, particularly Yelena. And so she did enjoy the film, but I think it got a little long in the tooth for her at times. But Black Widow is a good movie. I certainly think it's better than its reputation. People have kind of forgotten about it, and I think that was always destined to happen when you make a... like phase 1 or 2 film and put it in the middle of a completely different saga that is now the start of phase 4 that has nothing to do and almost no bearing on the events of phase 4, shy of a post-credit sequence that I think would have worked better if you'd put it at the end of Avengers Endgame. In fact, I didn't show my daughter the post-credits to this and plan to show it to her at the end of Avengers Endgame. So, there you have it. Up next, though, we are going to get cosmic with it and go back to the Guardians of the Galaxy. So you have that to look forward to in the coming week or so. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of Black Widow in the comment area down below. Have you revisited any time in the past, like 5 years or so since it's come out? I do think it's still a good movie and worth your time. Let me know what you think of the film in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and peace.